everyone, welcome to METBO. This is Kavia, and today we have got Mark with us, one of our awesome clients from Australia, who has been working with us for over 2 years. So let's kick things off. And could you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in fashion world?
So I originally started because I wanted to do something creative that was separate to my work, and I was buying a lot of custom one-of-ones online in the streetwear world at the time. And I wasn't really happy with the quality that some people were putting out. So I ended up buying my own embroidery machine and just learning how to do it myself and digitizing new ideas, sewing new ideas, and that way it didn't cost any money. And then I got more involved in, I guess, the streetwear community online and saw what other people were doing. And it eventually led me to finding there was a bit of a gap in the market at the time for streetwear blanks in Australia. And so that led me to look for a manufacturer to make those blanks. And that's how I ended up finding METBO.
Now, you have been working with us for over 2 years. So how did you find us, from like Instagram or Facebook or Twitter?
I think it was on Instagram. And then I gave him a message, and Tina reached out and wanted to organize a meeting straight away. Like, do you have time in 5 minutes for a call? I was like, oh.
5 minutes?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, she was the only one compared to other businesses who was, I guess, that excited or proactive to be working together and seeing what we wanted to do and that kind of thing. So.
Amazing, because only 5 minutes and then you call and then face call?
Yes.
Also, you meet Tina and Tina with you only 5 minutes. You have been working with us for over 2 years, and we have worked mainly with many products. And could you tell us which one is your favorite, which project, and why?
Hard to say specifically, but there's lots of different projects that we've just done, new techniques or different that required some problem solving, and those are always the most interesting to me. Even just some samples we finished a couple of days ago where we were making a hat with a repeating pattern along the inside of the brim that's really small and detailed. I originally thought I would need to do something printed, but Max came with a different solution to achieve the same effect. And I was a little doubting at first, but it came out really well. So it's always really happy when those kind of projects where you don't quite know what the solution is yet, but end up finding something unexpected and achieving what you want to achieve. Yeah.
Thank you. I think Max must have helped you, and then Tina also give you some advice, suggestion to how to make your design in real life. How have your customers respond to our products we have made?
Well, I always make sure that the customer leaves obviously happy with what we've provided them. We're not really in the business of doing really fast things or really cheap things, and so I guess customer service and happiness with the end product is much more important because they're coming to us to achieve a certain result rather than to just achieve a certain cost or something to fill their shelves with. So I would say all of them are very happy with how it comes out. That's partly my job as well, to make sure that it's achieving the result that they want.
We all think your product is good to show our quality as well, because your client and you to give a good feedback to us, embroidery, printing, like this. Next question, from t-shirt to caps and socks. We have created a variety of streetwear pieces for you. What is your main product, and why did you choose it as the main product?
I don't think I necessarily chose it, but the most common one by far is t-shirts and hoodies. I always like doing hoodies because I think everyone can wear them and you can dress them up and down, and there's also lots of creative ways that you can still change them, make them unique, and also I like being cozy and comfortable. I can't really dress up in a formal setting, so I especially like doing hoodies and always trying to add something a little bit different for the client, so then they have something unique, because being most common, like a t-shirt, it also has been done to death. So I try and give clients something new every time, and that way they have a product that they can show other people and tell other people that is actually different from everything else, especially the stuff that is more easily available on the market.
We also good at streetwear brand, yes, and also like the apparel. Would you try to make some apparel with us as well in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. Since we've worked together for quite a long time, I'm quite aware of the different capabilities and the different relationships that METBO as a business have with other people and what they can do. So I've seen a lot of different experimentations and effects that have been achieved from other people just by, walking into the sample room and stuff like this. And it definitely inspires you a little bit to think about the things you've never even thought about. I've never touched into the world of knitwear, but having strong ties to knitwear and stuff like this, it allows you a little bit more flexibility with experimentation and trying new things rather than just being told that something is too complicated or that they're not really willing to take on that work.
We are very interested in your business, so could you tell us what is the biggest challenge you have faced and how have you overcome it?
I think the biggest challenge is just doing all of the translating for a customer in terms of them understanding what they can do and managing their expectations. A lot of that can just be managed by my own skills in understanding the entire supply chain and then also understanding how to explain that to clients in a way that they can digest. The clients don't need to know the nitty-gritty of every single step, and sometimes it's not helpful for them to be making decisions in every single step of the process. But I find I remove a lot of the friction by keeping them informed in a way where they can make decisions if they have to, but also not making decisions for them or assuming things about their product. I find Western clients very much want to achieve a vision first and foremost. So when we or a manufacturer makes decisions to change their product without asking them, that's usually where problems arise. So a lot of managing that stuff is more just actually in communication.
We also meet some new designer, new brand owner want to make their design, but they do not very know about how to manufacture. So we think you did a good role in this business. Is how important is embroidery for your brand, and how do you use it to connect with your customers?
In the past, I would say it's a lot more important than it was now. It played a really big role, I guess, in establishing myself in the certain industry that I was in and also conveying expertise. So since I got really, really good at specifically embroidery itself, and I was willing to take on a lot of custom jobs, really complicated jobs, and really small runs, maybe just one or two, that kind of thing, I positioned myself somewhere that no one else was taking that work and also did it in a way more as like an expert or as an artisan. The end result was that translated into me being able to speak with the embroidery factories with much more expertise and much more detail in how to approach problems or how to achieve certain effects. I've found that a lot of manufacturing is about communicating the best instructions. The factory is only going to make a product as well as the instructions they get. So if the client gives something vague or is not really sure about what they want, then the factory also doesn't know what you want. And it usually ends up with them creating something different to what the client has in mind. So having better instructions will always come to a better outcome.
And we know you have embroidery machine when you're in Australia. Will you have another bigger one, or will you try to do embroidery by yourself in your home?
So I recently sold that machine because I moved here to China. I am looking to get another machine here at some point just because I'm setting up a studio and moving into a bit more of sample making, like with my own hands, not just embroidery, obviously like the whole sample making process. In terms of the machine, I was already using an industrial level machine. I'd upgraded it 2 or 3 times until I had the same machine that factories are using. It was just a single head though, so only doing one design at one time rather than 10 versions of the same design. So the only bigger machine I could get is if I was doing bulk production, and I'm not looking to run a factory myself, so I won't get that, but I probably will get another industrial machine because it's important that if you want to make stuff at the same quality, then in some ways you need to be using the same tools. I'm not a huge advocate for saying that people are limited by their tools, but there are certain steps. And you need to know also how to use those more advanced tools to actually achieve the same result. So
I'm looking forward to see your embroidery design and then have the real one on hand, like t-shirt, hoodie. And recently you moved to Guangzhou. We are so happy you are here. What motivated you to do the decision?
Well, there was a bunch of different factors. A couple of them I won't go too deep into because they're more like, I guess, smarter business moves that allow me to have a much more competitive advantage over other people. But ultimately I was motivated by learning and better opportunity to learn from the people who are physically doing it. I think it's quite common that people know if you want to learn and understand something, then you should do it yourself. And yeah, there's just a lot of knowledge here and in those places that can be absorbed firsthand a lot quicker than just, sitting halfway across the world trying to figure out things yourself. There's definitely merit to watching YouTube videos, reading stuff online, asking questions, and just doing things over and over again. That's exactly what I did and where I started. But there comes a certain point where you can just ask the people that already know and have 20, 30, 40 years experience. If you're developing relationships with them at the same time, then there's lots of benefits to that.
Hope you have a great experience in Guangzhou. And what are your goals for expanding your business in 2025?
A lot of my goals for 2025 actually revolve more around an artistic standpoint. It's mostly around learning, actually. Learning to do all sorts of new parts of the process myself, so then I can better convey those instructions in the future. I also want to dive into the world of making content. So I think I'm going to be documenting a lot of my learning journey by making videos about it and doing that in a fun way that might be a little bit silly or that kind of thing. But ultimately, my goal is to have the complete freedom to make whatever I want. The limitations usually are knowledge, tools, and just those practicing skills. So hopefully by being here, absorbing it all, and also trying new things like videos and that kind of stuff, I can just grow to have a much bigger skill set.
Okay. So do you think what kind of role can METBO play in your mission?
Well, I still use METBO for all my production, and where we have a lot closer, relationship now, sharing space in the office and still working together on producing different samples and that kind of thing. So I don't really see it changing very much. We're already more involved than most other people, but yeah, I think it'll just continue to be a really good resource for problem solving, for reliable production, and also as friends.
Is there anything you would like to share to some new brand owner who want to dive into the fashion world?
Just start the conversation, ask the questions, and there comes a certain point where you just have to dive in. I think when I started out, there's a big tendency to control how things are going to come out perfectly before you even do your first sample, before you even do your first bulk run and stuff. And you just sort of need to understand that you are also going to be learning along this journey. People doing the designing, the manufacturing, they can't read your mind. And it really does come down to the instructions that you give them and the instructions you communicate. And if you've never done that before, then you're probably not going to be very good at communicating what your vision is. But by doing it, you can learn how it works out and continue to improve along the way. So I guess I would just say jump in.
I think it's good advice for some new brand owner because they don't know how to do design, how to find digital mocha, or how to explain their design idea. Yeah, so I think if you want to start your brand and then want to work with us, you can contact us. And thank you for Mark to join our interview today.
No problem.
And hope we have a good relationship in the future, no matter in the manufacture your product or good friend in some good thing like take video or anything we can do. Thank you so much.
No worries.
Bye.